Please make sure you have your copy of the assignment Separating Dyes from Purple and Green Drinks. In this experiment, we're going to use the chromatography technique to separate the different colored dyes that are in purple grape soda and green Gatorade. Now, thinking ahead, you're probably already predicting that we'll find a blue and a red dye in the purple drink and a blue and a yellow dye in the green drink, and that is absolutely the case. The key question in this experiment is to compare the polarities of the different colored dyes using the separatory technique. It's a little different from the one we did with the paper. This time we're going to use something called a chromatography column. It's a simple plastic tube, but inside there are some special coated beads, and their job is to attract to the dye molecules and only allow them to be washed out of the column using different solvents. We're going to wash them out using a syringe. We have 4 different solvents or things to mix through or wash through the column. At your bench we have distilled water, 5% isopropanol. That means that it's 5% alcohol and 95% water. We have 25% isopropanol, so it's 25% alcohol and 75% water. And then there's 70% isopropanol, so it's only got 30% water. So these mixtures differ in the amount or the percent of water compared to alcohol, and that's going to have an effect on what they can wash out from the column. Now, when you follow the procedures on the back of the first page, take a look with me. The procedures are extremely detailed because there's a specific order in which you have to put things through the column, and if you don't do it in the correct order, 1, your results will not turn out very well, and 2, you can do damage to the column. And even though they look like simple little plastic tubes, they're actually fairly expensive, so let's please pay very close attention to the procedures. Check them off as you go so that you know which procedure you did and which one comes next. I'll do the first few procedures with you as a demonstration. So the first step, it tells you that the column should not be on the syringe, so don't put it on the syringe. First, we're going to draw 10 milliliters. That means up to the 10 here on the syringe. So look for the measurements on the syringe. 10 milliliters of the isopropanol, 70%. And what we're doing is we're rinsing through the column to make sure that it's clean. And then it says to put the column on. When you put the column on, put it the long tube end on. Will just fit right on the syringe. And then it says to slowly squirt the isopropanol through the column and into a big cup. So when you do this, you don't want to squeeze too hard because you don't want to damage the material that's inside. You just want to give it some gentle pressure, and you'll see the liquid coming through. And what we're trying to do is rinse out anything that's in the column, any contaminants, anything that dissolves in 70% isopropanol is now going to stay out of the column. It's going to wash right through. We're going to rinse through the column using the different mixtures of water and alcohol to see which parts of the dye mixture are more soluble in each part that we washed through. Okay, so now I'm going to finish with the cleaning of the column. I took the 10 milliliters of, next step, take the column off. Add 10 milliliters of distilled water, and then do the same thing. Put the column back on. The procedures are very specific about when to take the column off and when to put it on. When you squeeze through, make sure to hold onto the column like I'm doing here so it doesn't pop off and spray all over the place. I don't want you to get any of this material in your eyes or all over your clothes. Okay, so now I'm up to step number 7. I'm going to take the column off and put it aside. And when you do this at your bench, you can divide up into 2 groups. One can do the grape soda, one can do the green Gatorade. They're the exact same procedures for both. Or you could do the experiment all the way through yourself with one drink and then go back and repeat all the same steps with the other drink. So step 7 said to take off the column from the syringe. And then step number 8, draw 10 milliliters of grape soda. Or if you're doing the green Gatorade, do the Gatorade. And put the column back on. And you should have 3 cups. 1, 2, and 3. The procedures will tell you which cup to squirt into next. So I'm going to begin by pushing this liquid through into the first cup. And when I do so, I'm going to look very carefully at the color of the liquid that's coming out. and look at the color of the liquid that's in the cup, and look at what happens in the column. I'm not going to show you now because I don't want to ruin your surprise. But when you're pushing the liquid through the syringe, make sure to do it very carefully, very slowly, very gently, so as not to do damage to the material that's inside the column. Remember to please follow those procedures in the order they're written, exactly as they're written. Check them off as you go so that you know which one you did and which one comes next. And when you're all done, you can dump out the little white cups. Don't need to throw them away. You can dump out the contents of the big cup in the sink, but please don't dump out any of the other cups. We'll use those again in the next class period.